Hello, warriors. This is Miss Lemens, and I'm going to be going through the Charles Law Lab. Directions. Complete this document and answer the questions on the Google form here. Anything you complete in your notes or on this document is for your reference only. Only the Google form is being graded. This document is a part of your notes and should be referenced throughout the unit as you study each of the gas laws. So annotations are not going to be graded. They are for you. Optional, access an audio recording of the lab here. The audio will provide some explanations for the lab questions. That's what you're listening to right now. Pre-lab work, annotate the background and read this sections, and then write a 2-sentence summary of the background section. So this is the background section right here, and the read this section is right here on page 2. Okay, objective, to relationship between temperature and volume and perform calculations using Charles's law. Background. Imagine this. It's your 10th birthday, and you and your family decide to go to a local restaurant of your choice to celebrate. The best part about this restaurant, you get a balloon for your birthday. As you leave the restaurant, you double check your wrist to make sure that the balloon doesn't fly away. The evening air is chilly as you walk over to the car. Before you enter the car, you look up to check on your balloon friend, and to your dismay, you see that it is no longer the shiny, floaty globe that you received in the restaurant. It looks like a raisin. There's no way there was a hole in it because you were extra careful. So what happened? In 1787, Jacques Charles, a hot air balloon enthusiast, noticed the same exact phenomenon. He subjected the same amount of gas inside balloons, constant N, to different temperatures, T, and found that when he increased the temperature of the gas, the balloon expanded, V, volume. He found out that the volume of a gas was directly proportional to the temperature of a gas. This is a very important final statement. Then you'll write your summary, 2 sentences. Remember, that is for you, not for your teachers. That's for your notes. Okay, so read this section. There are many ways in which objects can store energy. Objects in motion have kinetic energy. The Greek prefix kine means movement. So kinetic energy is the energy of motion. If an object has a lower kinetic energy, then it will be moving slower. All gas particles have, on average, the same kinetic energy at a given temperature. Higher temperature equates to a higher kinetic energy. The kinetic energy of a gas particle is often shown with an arrow. A longer arrow illustrates a larger kinetic energy and a higher temperature. Question number 1. Based on the reading above, select the gas particle that is traveling with a higher kinetic energy, or faster. So again, you're just referring back to this reading. It says here that arrows with a longer arrow have a larger kinetic energy. So hopefully we can make that connection between question 1 and that last sentence. Number 2, consider the images of the gas-filled balloons below. You increase the gas temperature by heating up balloon 1 on the left. So that's this one over here. And you decrease the gas temperature by cooling down balloon 2 on the right. Okay, so we've got balloon 1 and balloon 2. First, you need to draw the resulting balloons and the gas particles below. Now, I want you guys to think back to this statement up here in the background section. Volume was directly proportional to the temperature of the gas. So think about that as you're drawing these balloons. We haven't done anything with the lab yet, so I don't expect you guys to know exactly what the answer is. But based off the background section, we should be able to predict. So for balloon 1, if we're increasing the temperature, we need to draw the resulting balloon with the gas particles below. Now, remember, as far as the number of gas particles go, think about, is there a hole in this balloon? The fact that we chose a balloon, is that a flexible or a rigid container? Okay, we have to do the same with balloon 2, but this time we are decreasing the temperature. So is this a flexible container? Is there a hole in this container? Are we adding more particles? What will that look like? Then after you draw your balloon with the particles in it, you need to indicate the kinetic energy of the particles using arrows, just like you see in the original balloon pictures. Remember that arrows show us the kinetic energy. Longer arrows illustrate larger kinetic energy and higher temperature. So think about what the arrows are going to look like after we increase the temperature or decrease the temperature. And then finally, will the volume of each balloon change? Yes or no? Circle 1. Number 3, based off of your answer to number 2, complete the following statement. The relationship between volume and pressure of a gas, volume and temperature of a gas is an inverse or direct proportion. And how do you know? So at this point, you could refer back to your pictures or the background section to help you answer this question here. How do you know it's an inverse or a direct proportion? Number 4, given your answers above, predict what the graph of a volume versus temperature of a gas would look like. For this graph, you're just sketching a line. You don't need to draw numbers in. If it helps you to draw numbers in, go ahead. By all means, do that. We're just looking for a prediction. So don't stress out about it too much if you don't get it right on the first try. Remember, this is predicting. We can't say you're right or wrong if it's a true prediction. Okay, so the simulation procedure. We're going to go ahead and just close this here. And we're going to open this here. Okay, so hopefully you can see my 2 screens here. Zoom out. There we go. All right. So it says open a web browser and type in FET Colorado, that URL. I already did that, so I have it up here. Then you're going to click on the gray arrow on the center of the image to launch the program. I already did that. And select Ideal. I already did that. All right, so now we're in the program. Under Hold Constant, select, for now, Nothing. It's already been selected for me, so I don't have to do anything. Number 5, pump the handle twice to add gas particles to the container. 1, 2. Under Hold Constant, select pressure, V. So this is pressure V. Select the width button underneath. So now you can see the volume down here, width, and the temperature is right here. You've got the pressure gauge here. And then record the temperature Kelvin, which is the measurement we measure Kelvin in, or temperature in, is in Kelvin, and the volume, nanometers, in your data table. So right now, what I see is 300 Kelvin and 10 nanometers. So that's what I would record in these 2 columns here. Collect 5 more temperature, K, or Kelvin, and volume, nanometers, data points by increasing and or decreasing the temperature by moving the toggle on the bucket under the chamber. So here's the bucket. If I want to increase the temperature, I'm just going to hold it and unclick, and it should swing back to not heating at all. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and record these. So that's 346 Kelvin, and my mass here is my volume is 11.5 nanometers. Okay, so you guys can increase or decrease the temperature. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. So notice I had like 346. That's okay. If you want to decrease the temperature instead and say like, oh, look, 296, or if you want to go really, really small, you can see that 225, like these aren't perfectly round numbers, and that's okay because we're graphing trends. And so the trend should still look the same regardless of how round or how pretty your numbers are. Okay, so looking at your data above, the relationship between volume and temperature of gas seems to be a direct or inverse proportion. Remember, if something's a direct proportion, while one thing increases, the other variable also increases. And if it's an inverse proportion, while one variable increases, the other variable decreases. All right. Number 6, which variable did you change in the experiment? This is your independent variable. Which variable did you measure in the experiment? This is your dependent variable. So think back to what you filled in the table. And then what variables, if any, were kept constant in the experiment? And number 9 says, which calculation, K1 or K2, produced the most consistent results? Okay, so for this one, all you're going to do is plug in the numbers that you recorded from the simulation into each of these equations and calculate them to see what numbers you get under from those calculations. So here you would take the volume divided by the temperature. So that would be 10.0 divided by 300 Kelvin. And over here you would do instead multiply them together, so that'd be 10.0 nanometers times 300 Kelvin. And you'll do that for each of the data points that you collected from the simulation. Okay, graphing. Using your data, sketch a volume versus temperature graph on the axis below. And again, this is just a sketch. You don't need to put numbers in, although by having numbers, it might help you visualize or better visualize the trend line or what that line looks like. But again, we are just looking for a sketch. Then you would go ahead and answer questions 5 through 10 on the Google form called Charles's Law Lab/Simulation. Okay, discussion questions. Number 11, Charles's law describes the volume and temperature of a gas. This relationship is described as being a direct proportion. Explain why this is a direct proportion and not an inverse proportion. A, as the temperature increases, the volume decreases. B, as the temperature increases, the volume increases. C, as the temperature increases, the volume remains the same. Think back to that background section. Think back to your data table. What is the trend that you observed? Number 12, in each experiment, the gas pressure inside the container was held constant, but the volume always changed with temperature. Select the particle level explanation for this observation. A, the temperature of a gas decreases. The kinetic energy of the particles will increase. This will cause the particles to collide with more force, which causes the balloon to decrease in volume. B, the temperature of a gas decreases. The kinetic energy of the particles will also decrease. This will cause the particles to collide with less force, which causes the balloon to decrease in volume. C, the temperature of a gas decreases. The kinetic energy of the particles will also decrease. This will cause the particles to collide with more force, which causes the balloon to increase in volume. Number 13, the 3 samples of identical gas molecules below all have the same pressure. First, rank the samples from lowest temperature to highest temperature. You can do this just by placing a 1, a 2, and a 3, or a 1, a 2, and a 3 over each balloon, 1 being the lowest, 3 being the highest temperature. Then you need to add arrows of appropriate size to illustrate the average kinetic energy of the particles in the samples. And remember, the Read This section on page 2 tells you how to use those arrows. Number 14, conclusion. Write a concise statement, 1 to 2 sentences, that summarizes Charles' law. Okay, so on the last page, page 5, we have, oops, that's formatted wrong. There we go. So then you would fill out that information on your Google form, because remember, even though you filled out everything on this document, we aren't grading the document, we are grading the Google form. Okay, then on the last page, page 5, you have homework. Your teacher, or you should complete these practice problems after you watch the notes that have been provided by your teacher. This is not graded homework, but it's really important. It's necessary for you to know for your unit test. So practice. Use Charles's law to complete the following problems. Complete answers will show all relevant work, have appropriate units, and will be rounded according to the rules of sig figs. So you have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. You have 7 practice problems here. And you'll see that in italics and parentheses that the answer key has already been provided for you. So remember, the goal here isn't to show that you got the correct answers, to get credit for that. We've already given you the answers. The goal here is for you to practice to see if you can get the correct answer by doing the calculation appropriately. If you have questions, remember, you can always reach out to your teachers during school hours. They are a resource. Otherwise, that is Charles's law simulation. Good luck.